You mentioned about your hiring process not being the easiest thing to go through. And obviously there's a lot of people in the market looking for roles. So as a CEO, could you explain your hiring process and any sort of tips, pieces of advice for people looking for a job to make them stand out?
Sure. I mean, for us, a lot of importance is put on cultural match and communication. As I mentioned, as a natively remote team, we don't have the luxury of simply turning our head and asking our colleagues a question or involve them into problem solving. So, as we interview people, we look at portfolios. Of course, we look at their pedigree, CVs, and such. But we frequently test our candidates even on more senior roles. I know that there are many people in the industry that frown upon, like, hey, I'm in the industry for 15 years. Why are you expecting me to do a test?
Yeah.
On the other hand, I think that the pedigree alone and great portfolio doesn't necessarily guarantee the match of that person for your team, and we always pay for our tests. So this is one of the things that we do, for example.
I had a great analogy to that argument. Please, when you go and buy a packet of eggs, do you open the box and check it first? Of course you do. You don't want to see you need to see if there's any broken eggs. And I think tests exactly the same. Your CV can only tell you one part of the story, but you've got to see in practice what that person is.
Yeah, I mean, it's been more than 10 years back, but at one point I interviewed for CD Projekt Red, for a role at CD Projekt Red, and I already had a lot of games, high-profile games shipped from Mafia to The Amazing Spider-Man, and I was actually very happy to be given a written, pretty stressful test, because I felt like, these guys actually genuinely care about the skill set and match of the people that they're bringing on board, and they want to make sure that I perform for them. Similarly, I loved the recruitment process in a lot of my past employers, Crytek, which I completely ripped off for my own company, where basically when I interviewed for a manager role, I wasn't just interviewed by the direct supervisors, but also by people from different disciplines. So basically, my interview took 2 days, and I was interviewed by artists, by animators, by sound guys, etc. And yes, this was actually time-consuming, and it required attention from a lot of people from the team. Of course, it didn't happen in the initial stage of the interview, but later one day when I was in a short among the very few candidates that they wanted to seriously consider. But the benefit of this approach was that after this interview, the participants voted whether or not do they want me in the studio, and I knew that I had support from my future colleagues from the get-go. And for my first day at the studio, there were about 20 people who knew not only why I was hired, but also what my profile is, and they were approaching me with offer to help. And basically, I felt integrated in the team super fast, and I absolutely loved that experience. And we are trying to do the same with at Plan A by involving my colleagues into the interview process.
That's so interesting, and it's good to get it from that perspective, because sometimes a candidate goes through a couple of different processes within a company, and it becomes a bit daunting. But seeing it from that perspective, it just really shines light on the thinking behind it. And just coming back, you say you pay for tests. That's not a common thing in the industry.
To be honest, I don't have enough reference points to know if it's common or not common. But I simply respect the time of people that we interview, and once they reach a point where we ask them to showcase their skills, I would find it disrespectful to their time to ask them for free work. I mean, all of us have bills to pay. We have things to do with our time, and We simply, well, I simply respect the effort that the candidate puts in showcasing their work for us. Similarly, when we work with our partners as a studio, and then they decide to test us because they never worked with us before, we expect to be paid, or we only and the other, of course, like the other way around. If the partner is not happy with us, we give them work free of charge. But luckily, actually, we never had to apply this policy.
That doesn't happen, does it? No.
No, we pick our battles.